All right, now happy to welcome Kashab and Nathan Petrosello of Scroll Network.
Okay, we good to go? Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Just wanted to thank you all for being here. I'm Nathan Petrosello, and this is Kashab. We are co-founders of our startup, Solutech Incorporated, which governs the Scroll Network, which is a blockchain project that is pretty much built to drive adoption in the logistics, data management, and data storage space in general. So one thing that I wanted to touch on before we get into the demo is that a lot of people, there's like a big question mark with blockchain technology right now, because you have all of these really cool projects and they're building some really cool technology, but you don't know, or some people don't really know how that technology can integrate into their business. So what we want to show you today is exactly what blockchain technology can do for your logistics business, while at the same time increasing efficiency without damaging workflows at all. So when we started our startup about 2 years ago, the original idea was to innovate peer-to-peer technologies and make them more easier, make technology more distributed, and make it so that way you can disinvolve a third party in your entire logistics process or data storage process. So when you think of Scroll, think of it as your own private means to storing, managing, and tracking your data. So right here we have our product, which is Aster, the logistics framework. Scroll is a group of blockchain networks where you can build products on top of different networks. The reason why we chose to deploy multiple blockchains is we saw inefficiencies in having to fork, which would be essentially changing permissions of one blockchain, and it causes a lot of inefficiencies, because if your business wants to run in one way, if you want to do all these really cool things with blockchain, but you're sharing a large decentralized network with somebody else, the problem that you have is that you have to conform to whatever their privileges are. So by creating multiple blockchains and giving you your own personal distributed ledger, it gives you individually, the business owner or the consumer, the ability to own your data while at the same time manage your own network with its own privileges. So let's get into the demo. As you can see right here, it's easily interactable. The UI is really simple to understand. So when we get to the portal, you can see all your active shipments, everything that's going on with your shipment statistics. If we get into the first transaction right here, you can see, disapprove, or approve any transaction that's coming up. As you can see right here, this transaction still needs to be approved. And this is all on your own personal blockchain network. You are not sharing any information with anybody else that's being moved. Any transaction that's being processed is completely to you and your business. So as we can see right here, you have all of your authenticated transactions right here. Each are time-stamped individually. So then we get into the big question of smart contracts. So for those of you that have heard of smart contracts, think of them as immutable records in which you can set privileges, set voting rights, or anything of the sort for any sort of shipment that you want to do. So with your smart contract, what you can do on here is you can issue simply what needs to be done for your business or whatever your consortium approves, or any peers that join that network or consortium, and you can actively see all the transactions being approved here. And because we use the trustful system known as blockchain technology, you don't need to worry about any sort of issues in terms of auditing that information, as it's all completely immutable. The only case where something would be immutable or something like that is if the entire network were to agree to change something. So that being said, it's very efficient for anti-fraud. So let's get into roots, where Kashab can explain everything that's going on there.
So if you take a look at the roots, the general roots overview, this kind of gives you a breakdown of your different orders. If you want to have different communication methods between shipper and driver, here are the different ways. And then if you want a more detailed overview, here are the different points where the transaction is verified, from the pickup all the way to the delivery. And if you want to continue.
Sure. So one thing that's actually pretty neat about Scroll in general, especially with what we're doing here, is there's more features that are to come. But right now, what we wanted to show everybody is what is actively can be used, or what is actively being used. So that being said, we want to create products that you're going to integrate into your business now, rather than something that needs 3 to 5 years to be essentially researched over and over, and then recategorized or pivoted multiple times. So in creating these applications, if you look at other decentralized applications known as dApps, a lot of them have problems such as a very convoluted interface. Loading times are incredible. And you need to rely on either miners or you need to rely on another peer on the network to be able to either move transactions or manage those transactions. So what we've done essentially to get rid of that need to essentially put all your workload on miners, which are people you wouldn't even know, so you're exposing that to your business, we've created a verified peer, essentially consensus, which works similar to proof of authority, where you would invite a set of peers and you would give them verification process to move your transactions. That way everything stays internally. One thing that we really care about here, too, is data privacy and what your data means to you, especially in the world we live in today. It seems like a third party always holds and manages your information. So because this is your own personal blockchain network, or the blockchain network of the consortium that is operating your entire workflow, only the individuals that are participating in that network would be able to see and use that network. That being said, we don't do any personal auditing of your transactions and stuff like that. So to just finally wrap things up and stuff like that, what the hallmarks are of Scroll in general is adoption today, not adoption in 3 years. And we really believe that Aster could potentially be an excellent solution for your supply chain and logistical needs, especially in the case of anti-fraud, efficiency, and workflow. So if anybody is interested in trying out Aster for your business, feel free to stop by booth 17 downstairs, and we can get you set up with a demo, or you can try out the platform in whichever way you choose. But thank you so much for your time. We're excited to be here. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right, one more time for Scroll Network.